Good evening. And you call the Schaumburg Village Board meeting to order for Tuesday, February 27th, 2024. I do ask if you wouldn't mind silence any cell phones or other electronic devices that make noise so we can have conduct a meeting in peace. First item is to call the roll. If the clerk will please call roll.
Trustee Patel?
Present.
Trustee Clare?
Present.
Trustee Sullivan?
Present.
Trustee Dunham?
Present.
Trustee Madej?
Present.
Trustee Bishke?
Present.
President Daly?
Present. All present and accounted for this evening. Thank you. Would you do Pledge of Allegiance? Sure. So I'm going to ask Trustee George Dunham to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all. Okay.
Thank you, Trustee Dunham. Next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes from February 13th, 2024. Any questions, comments?
Move to approve as presented. Second.
Motion and a second to approve as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item is the approval of expenditures for $4,843,262.07.
Move to approve the expenditures as presented. Second.
Thank you. Motion and a second to approve as presented. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Patel?
Aye.
Trustee Clare?
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan?
Aye.
Trustee Dunham?
Aye.
Trustee Madej?
Aye.
Trustee Bishke?
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. Motion carries. Thank you. Next is an item that is always a little fun to do and is to make some presentations. So we're going to take a few minutes to do that. We have, the first one is we have a retirement plaque for 42 years of service. Dean Woolworth, if I pronounced that correctly, there you are. Please come on up here. Let me get this out of the box here, okay? All right, so, and you've been in the police department. Have you been in the police department the whole time?
No, yes.
Yeah.
Different hats.
Different positions, okay, all right. So if you may, I'm just take a second to read this. In grateful appreciation of Dean Willard for court administrator in recognition of your 42 years of dedicated service to the village of Schaumburg, 1981, I moved in here in 1982, to 2020. Best wishes in your retirement from the village president, village board, village clerk, and the staff of the village of Schaumburg. So congratulations. Here's the box for it, and there's a little something here too. So you want to take this with you, okay? Take that, got it? Okay, all right, again, thank you very much.
You get the envelope?
Yep, got it.
That's it.
Oh, this one? It's in there? Sorry.
Get the envelope.
I was trying to get the box. All right.
Pretty sneaky the way you did that.
I just want to say a couple words.
Sure,
I know
please do.
this is to recognize me for my service, but it's been a pleasure to work for the village for all these many years. I've been able to support my family. I have 9 children. That we were able to support them. When I first came to the village, I remember my interview with the police and fire commission. It was about the same time of year, 1981. Doc Caniglio, Ben Barron, and Fred Volk, right? And they cautioned me about the high standards and requirements of working in the village, and told me what was expected, and I tried to hold those values. It's been a wonderful place to work. I've really enjoyed it. Met a lot of great people. From in the beginning, the HR people were very supportive. Sandy Carcello and Lynn Nitsu, and even to the end, Hank Sergio, and the number of people at the village, Joanna Soares, all these people have helped me through the venture getting from beginning to the end, and it's been a great pleasure and great experience for me to learn and grow and
seen a lot of changes.
There's
You
been a
know,
lot.
they have a lot of changes in that time
Really
period,
from
so.
the barns,
Yep.
you know,
Sure.
so it's a great facility, I understand you're gonna be building up. But thank you
Okay.
so much, I really appreciate it, it's been a great opportunity.
Well, thank you.
and a great experience.
Thank you.
I've actually known Dean since before he was a Schaumburg policeman. He was a policeman in another town. We've known each other a long time. Yeah.
Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
Okay, I have another one here. This is 25 years to Cassandra Herman, or Cassie, as her friends get to call her. Take a picture in a second. Let me read what it says. How you doing? Okay, all right. So Cassie and I have family relations there. So this is a certificate of appreciation presented to Cassandra Herman, customer service clerk for 25 years dedicated service to the Village of Schaumburg, 1999 to 2024. Grateful appreciation to village president, village trustees, village clerk, and the staff of the Village of Schaumburg. So Cassie does a lot more than what it just says here. A lot of things that go on at the Prairie Center, if they need help, she's there to help out, and whether it's running a ticket booth or organizing or running people through that are there, might be there for practice and need to get to where they're going and everything else and all that. So there's a lot going on. So anyway, so thank you very much. We'll do a little shake here. Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, let me- And the next one I have is for Matt Frank. Well, Matt also has 25 years here as Director of Economic Development. Didn't start as Director as Economic Development, he started as a planner, and when the Economic Development Department was set up, I know he was just the perfect choice for it, and Matt's been there doing that and keeping us good. So again, if I may, just take a minute. Certificate of appreciation presented to Matt Frank, Director of Economic Development, for 25 years of dedicated service to the Village of Schaumburg, 1999 to 2024, and grateful appreciation from the village president, village trustees, village clerk, and the staff of the Village of Schaumburg. So, congratulations. Okay, thank you, Matt.
Another 25, right?
Yeah. Stick around for a while. Okay, liquor license request is on the agenda, but we have no one here for a liquor license request. So with the board's indulgence, I'm going to shift the agenda around, and I'm going to move. We have a number of people here and from the public, so I'm going to move the comments from the public from the back of the agenda up to the front, so those people can have a quick say and be able to get out, and hopefully not be hit too much by the weather out there. So, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to look, first of all, there is a spokesperson here, so I'm going to, how do you want to do this? You have someone you want to start with?
Yep, sure.
Okay, so please come up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
This time is reserved, as I've mentioned before, is reserved for times that is pertinent towards village business, the operation of the Village of Schaumburg. So please hold forth.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Board of Trustees. My name is Akbar Pasha. I'm a resident of Schaumburg. I've been here for 2014. And first of all, thank you for all the work you guys do. I absolutely love living here and continue to do so for as long as I can. I'm here to talk about the ongoing devastation and annihilation of the citizens of Gaza and the rapidly rising and deeply troubling humanitarian crisis. And I know we're all aware of it. You've been looking at the news. We've been looking at the news. And the statistics are deeply troubling and ever rising. I just wanted to highlight some of the stats because I think it just highlights the magnitude of the issue that we're dealing with over here. So bear with me, please. 30,000 have been killed since over the last 150 days or so, the vast majority of which are children and women. That's about 40% of the Schaumburg population, just to put it into perspective. That's a significant amount if we kind of bring it home. Countless lay dead and buried under rubble of their homes and hospitals and schools. And that must have been a very slow and suffocating, dark death for many of them. Over 70,000 have been injured so far. 85% or more of the population is displaced with acute water shortage and food shortage. And I'm sure you guys saw the article in CNN recently, a couple of days ago, about how the Gazans are resorting to eating grass and drinking water that is undrinkable. That's not potable water. And I just can't imagine, and I don't think any of us can because we just haven't been there, the painful pangs of hunger and unbearable thirst that would drive a human being to actions like that. I just want us to kind of take that home and just have that resonate with us if we can. I just don't think we're capable of that. Oxfam announced today that Israel is ignoring the key ICJ provisions on starvation. I saw a video just today, and it really hit home, and it's hard to actually go through this without shedding any tears, of a two-year-old baby dying of starvation in front of its parents, as the parents looked on with painful desperation. Aid remains woefully limited and restricted. There are no functioning hospitals in northern Gaza. Northern Gaza is just not habitable anymore. There's no standing buildings, and this is not according to myself. This is according to the UN. There's one partially functioning hospital or medical facility in southern Gaza for the millions of people that have been pushed down there. The UN Refugee Agency announced yesterday that it can no longer provide support in Gaza. And that's a pretty serious condition for a population that's already highly distressed and living under the conditions that they're living under. These are shocking statistics, and they just go on and on. I just want to emphasize that I'm not here to debate a state's right to self-defense, rules of war, or oppression and apartheid and the right to rise up against it. I'm here to appeal to our responsibility as human beings. It's easy to distance ourselves, to desensitize ourselves. It's not our fault, as we live within the comfort of our lives and convince ourselves that this is a war of good versus evil. It's never that simple. I think we all realize that. We've been through life long enough to recognize that it's just not black and white. There's a lot of shades of gray. What is clear, however, is the indiscriminate and more than just over-the-top annihilation and genocide of a civilian population. And these words are not my words. These are words of our president, that it's over-the-top and it's indiscriminate. What I appeal to you is to ask yourself as you sit down for dinner with your loved ones, as you enjoy time with your loved ones, to ask yourself, did I stand with humanity or did I justify civilian suffering and killing due to political pressures and motivations? I ask you to support a ceasefire, to put it on your agenda for the next meeting. I ask to please pass a ceasefire resolution. Your stance and message and decisions matter to us. They matter to Schaumburg, they matter to Illinois, and they matter to Palestine and the world. And I'd just like to close this by saying, as W.E.B. Du Bois, a renowned sociologist, historian, and civil rights activist said, we must complain. Yes, plain, blunt complaint, ceaseless agitation, unfailing exposure of dishonesty and wrong. This is the ancient, unerring way of liberty, and we must follow it. Thank you.
So, as I indicated prior, the purpose of comments from the audience is for items that are pertinent towards the Village of Schaumburg. So we're going to keep this short. I understand there's a couple other people that wish to come up and speak, so we're going to provide that courtesy, even though this matter is technically not pertinent towards the Village of Schaumburg. Just want to make that clear. So we can take a couple of more comments, and then we're going to close the comments.
Thank you, Mr. President and Trustee of Village. My name is Imran Khan, and I am a former president of Midwest Islamic Center, one of the largest Muslim mosque in the Schaumburg, and currently holding a seat as a trustee of the Midwest Islamic Center and Masjid al-Huda. As you know, Midwest Islamic Center is one of the largest and oldest mosque in this area and almost hold about 20,000 families, surrounding suburbs. We serve that community. And we have deeply concern regarding the innocent people of Gaza being massacred and facing collective punishment. Recently, as you know, that ruling of the International Court of Justice ruled that the Israeli government is committing genocide against the people of Palestine. The total toll of death is given out today was 30,000, close to that. But again, if you, the latest report came from UN, they said there could be around 100,000 people buried. A lot of people are buried and missing under the rubble, which we are not counted for. So 30,000 bodies were found, but there are more than that people are buried under the rubble. So it could be a larger number of people who have been killed. And then every single day, as you, I don't know, a lot of news channels cover that, hundreds of people get killed by, the civilians get killed by the bombs which are funded by our tax dollar. And also weapon given to Israel by us. It is a collective punishment, in my view. These babies, young babies and young pregnant women or innocent people being indiscriminately being bombed and killed, this is very, very unfortunate. Furthermore, the deliberate blockage of humanitarian aid to the Gaza caused a severe starvation and suffering. As Akbar Pasha said earlier, that they're blocking the basic humanitarian needs. The videos and this traumatizing videos are coming out from Gaza. The children, men and women being killed, raped and tortured by Israeli army. It's not acceptable to anyone, as we pledge to the flag that justice for all. We do seek justice for all. We complain. With over 2 million people has been displaced in 90 days. With already a dense populated Gaza Strip, the humanitarian crisis reached to an alarming proportions. How are you going to survive? I mean, that many people in such a small land. This is unimaginable. We can't even connect to that. As an advocate of peace, we cannot support the unjust war and collective punishment by anyone, including our friends. It doesn't matter. If you're going to put a war which is unjust and collective punishment, even they are our friends, we should say something about it, because we should seek justice for all. The International Court of Justice ruling also puts U.S. government on the notice of enabling a violation of the Genocide Convention. We all know that. We heard it. We saw the YouTube. But, Mr. President and trustees here, you are our town leaders, entrusted by the well-being of the community, our community. You possess the authority and the power and a moral obligation to intervene in this unfolding genocide. I peacefully urge you all that the city of Schaumburg and its city council to take a stand against the ongoing genocide on the Palestinian people by Israel. We ask you to call for an immediate and lasting ceasefire in your next meeting. Thank you so much.
Next.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. My name is Faiz Kozundar. I'm the Executive Director of UTCC, which is Peace and Justice Organization. I am here just to stand in front of you to tell you that personally, I have 150 people from my immediate family crowded in Rafah without shelter. I just went to Walmart and sent them $2,000 to buy the necessary items to eat, to survive, which is not there. I voted for Jimmy Carter, and he was one-term president because of the Iran crisis. 3 years ago, I voted for Biden, and he will be one-term president too, because he flew all the way to Tel Aviv to declare war on my family, using my tax dollar to bomb my house. My house, my dad built it in 1952, now turned to rubble. That's how bad the situation is. I caught in a bind. I am a citizen, and I see my tax dollar turn to bomb to kill my family, my own family. My niece was killed last war, 11 days, and the 11th day of the war, my niece was killed. Bomb penetrated her house, killed her while she was holding her 4-year-old daughter. The daughter survived, the mother died. And this war, her husband and 3 boys got injured. Same thing, got bombed. We have unlimited bombs coming from the United States going to Gaza to drop on their innocent children and women. I don't want to lecture this, but I tell you, Mr. Mayor, respectfully, I thank you very much for your response. My name is Faiz Kozandar. You responded to my email telling me that this is not related to village business. Okay, but it's related to citizens in your village. This is a symbolic, emotional thing. Please pass this resolution. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you this evening. My name is Nancy Roberts, and I'm an Arabic to English translator, and I lived for approximately 26 years in the Middle East. Much of that time I spent surrounded by wonderful, loving Palestinian people. And I would like also to address the fact that, indeed, every matter that concerns our tax dollars going overseas to fund wars is also a matter of concern to each of us and every village council in the entire United States. W.H. Auden once said, "Those to whom evil is done do evil in return." The attack of October 7, however brutal, must be seen against the backdrop of the cumulative brutality the State of Israel has been carrying out against the people of Palestine over the last 75 years through illegal occupation, land theft, ethnic cleansing, house demolitions, bombing campaigns with huge civilian death tolls, with impunity, targeted assassinations, arrest and detention of Palestinians without charge or trial, of whom there are 7,000 in Israeli prisons now, many of them who have never been convicted of any crime. This includes children. Israel is the only state, only country in the entire world that tries children before in a military court. It has done so through its brutal, and I should just, sorry, I got interrupted by my own thoughts. Israel has engaged in arrest or detentions of Palestinians without charge or trial, including that of children, torture, restrictions on movement, an arbitrary regime of apartheid separation between Palestinians on one hand and Israelis on another, and more recently through a brutal, illegal, 17-year siege of Gaza that started in 2007. The crimes committed on October 7 pale by comparison with the scale and savagery of the onslaught Israel has unleashed since that day against Gaza's entire population, through massive destruction of civilian infrastructure, including libraries, archives, mosques, churches, schools, universities, hospitals, bakeries, sewage treatment plants, power plants. This maniacal assault has rendered Gaza unlivable and Gazans' existence a living hell. 80% of civilian housing in Gaza has been destroyed, displacing 1.8 million people and leaving at least 100,000 civilians dead, wounded, maimed, or missing under the rubble, with many more slated to die of starvation, dehydration, and disease as Israel staunchly refuses to allow humanitarian aid to reach the Gazan people, 500,000 of which of whom are now in actual starvation mode. This is barbarism. It bears noting that through its unconditional support for Israel's genocidal war on Gaza, the U.S. government is in violation of no fewer than 5 federal laws. Number 1, the Foreign Assistance Act of 1961. Number 2, the Arms Export Control Act of 1976. Number 3, the U.S. War Crimes Act of 1995 and 1996. Number 4, the Leahy Law of 1997. And number 5, the Genocide Convention of 1948, of which we are a signatory. In the words of consumer advocate Ralph Nader, we are the arch enabler of this massive slaughter in Gaza. It is thus our moral and legal duty to stand with the Palestinian people by passing a resolution which calls for an immediate, unconditional ceasefire, the unimpeded entry of humanitarian aid, the release of hostages on both sides, not just the Israeli hostages held by Hamas, but some of the thousands who are held without charge or trial in Israel and who are thereby hostages, and a political solution that grants the Palestinians their long-denied right to dignity, freedom, and self-determination. I call upon you, please, to do your duty by the people of Palestine, because we are all in this together. What happens overseas will eventually come home to us. Thank you very much.
So just so you're aware, that siren is a warning. There is no tornado sighting at this point. Otherwise, we would have had to evacuate. So just be aware it is a warning to be on the lookout, but nothing yet right now. So, okay, please proceed. Give us your name and then.
Good evening. My name is Ali Sultan. I am a resident of Naperville, not a resident of Schaumburg, but a longtime visitor of the community. I'm standing here today to speak to you guys what's going on in Gaza. As you said, Mr. Mayor, that this issue is not relevant to this village of Schaumburg, but I say that's grossly offensive and incorrect. Since the October 7th attack, Illinois has donated or has bought $10 million in bonds from the Israeli government in support of what? A genocide. Like I wanted to say, I'm a proud uncle of 2 nieces and 2 nephews, all under 4 years old. I love kids. I know many here on this board have kids. And just imagine your kids being held in a school with a gun pointed to their head. That is reality that happened on December 23rd in Gaza. And who was holding that gun towards their head? IOF soldiers, Israeli occupation soldiers, the soldiers who are funded by our tax dollars, who are funded by Schaumburg's tax dollars. We are here today to say we are fed up with what is going on. We cannot stand with what is going on. We are here not asking, we are demanding for this to stop. The core values of Schaumburg are integrity, respect, teamwork, and trust. Trust. Trust, what does that mean? Trust, to trust in you, our leaders, to trust in you, our leaders, to speak up, to stand up for what's right. You say this is not relevant to Schaumburg. I say that is incorrect, and I will keep repeating that. Look at me. Look at those kids in the room. What color are they? They are brown. They are beige. They are the same colors of my constituents behind me. I say to you, the village, the board, Mr. Mayor, If you do not stand up, I promise you, like I said to Mayor Worthy last week, that come next election, your term will end. We will remember. We will not forget. We will not forget. You stand for us. You represent us. You have a moral obligation, a duty. Please do what is right. You know what is right. What is right is to stand up for life, to stand up for kids, to stand up for justice. We pledge allegiance to that flag, to the United States of America, for liberty and justice for all. Where is the justice? Where is it? I ask you. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take just a couple more, and then we're going to call the comments for the evening. Please proceed. Give us your name.
I'm Rishta Fatima. I'm a resident of Schaumburg. The ongoing war in Gaza has resulted in immense human suffering and loss of life. The city of Schaumburg is committed to promoting peace, unity, and respect for all its residents. We recognize and stand in solidarity with our Muslim and Jewish communities, reaffirming our commitment to their safety, security, and well-being. We share dire concerns with the war in Gaza, in which over 30,000 plus people, mostly women and children, have been killed since October 7th, with the exact amount unknown due to the inability to count the dead as the health system collapsed. Another 70,000 injured, mostly women and children, and several thousand more reported missing and presumed to be dead under the rubble. We are deeply sympathetic to the 2 million Palestinian civilians who have been displaced. The people of Gaza face further devastation from the lack of food, water, sanitation, and other basic necessities, with over 500,000 Gazans reported starving by the UN. International norms require that all parties to a conflict protect schools, hospitals, and humanitarian access, which has not occurred in Gaza. We acknowledge the urgency of the situation and the imperative need for immediate action. The Council of Schaumburg, Illinois calls for an immediate ceasefire to the hostilities in the region, causing a horrific loss of Palestinian lives. We urge for the immediate provisions of humanitarian aid and consumer it with the multiple levels of social economic collapse in Gaza. We urge leaders to prioritize the safety and well-being of all hostages and detainees, recognizing the right to freedom and immediate release. We extend our support to diplomatic efforts and initiatives aimed at facilitating a peaceful resolution to the conflict, emphasizing the importance of abiding by established international humanitarian laws. We express our unwavering commitment to fostering peace and unity within the city of Schaumburg and represent the voices and concerns of all its citizens. We stand in solidarity with our Muslim and Jewish communities, affirming our commitment to their safety, security, and inclusion within the fabric of our city. We express our sincere hope that the current conflict will be resolved swiftly and peacefully, leading to a lasting justice and peace. I request the board to add this resolution in the agenda for discussion in the next board meeting.
All right, just two more, okay? We're not going to repeat the same thing over and over and over again, okay? So two more,
If everyone's a part of Schaumburg, shouldn't they be able to speak?
No. This is not, because this is not a matter pertinent towards the village of Schaumburg. So I understand. We're not going to get into discussion here, okay? So if you wish to speak, you can go ahead, okay?
Hi, my name is Miriam. I am a former student of James B. Conant High School. I'm here to persuade all of you to consider a ceasefire resolution. For the past 75 years, Israel has occupied Gaza under an apartheid regime. Furthermore, Israel has been using American tax dollars to finance the unjustifiable genocide against the people of Palestine for the past 140 days. In this case, the very least we can do is inform you guys and our elected officials that we want an end to this and that we don't want our tax money to fund this. Palestine is experiencing a major humanitarian catastrophe as a result of Israel's actions, with severe shortages of food, water, and electricity. Israel has been establishing illegal colonies and denying Palestinian rights and occupying Palestinian territory in violation of international law for decades. In addition to constant attacks on civilians, Palestinians live under an apartheid state that limits their freedom and violates their rights. A child in Gaza is killed every 15 minutes. That means the 8 hours you slept today and then woke up, 32 children in Gaza were killed. By the time we finish work, another 32 will be killed. All these children did not even get a chance to dream. More than 12,300 children have been killed. Aaron Bushnell, an American airman on active service, committed an act of self-immolation on the steps of the Israeli embassy in Washington, D.C. 2 days ago. His final words were, I will be no longer complicit in genocide. I am about to engage in an extreme act of protest, but compared to what people have been experiencing in Palestine at the hands of their colonizers, it is not extreme at all. This is what our ruling class has decided will be normal. Free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine. He now quickly sets himself on fire after setting the liquid he had poured all over himself on fire. He keeps screaming, free Palestine, free Palestine. While paramedics attempt to take out the flames, he collapses onto the burning ground as an Israeli embassy soldier points a gun at him. The cause of this act of self-immolation and the reason why Americans are taking their own lives is because our representatives, you people, are not listening to us, and this is happening. This genocide is happening. Aaron is the second American to commit such an act on an Israeli building steps in less than 3 months. I just wanted to make sure you guys know that we will not give up, and there is going to be a free Palestine. This is your problem, this is our problem, this is Schaumburg's problem, because we fund this genocide with our tax dollars. Again, I would encourage you guys to consider a ceasefire resolution for the sake of humanity.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Nurul Said, and I am a resident of Schaumburg for 10 years now. Thank you, Board of Council, for allowing us to express ourselves as the people in power. You know, you guys are people in power. It's very important for you to get educated about this and also take this forward with other point of contact that you have. So let me start off by pointing out, mentioning some of the very common gaslight propaganda statement that people make to justify injustice. This is a manipulation and a distraction, a very common way of dismantling a credible argument. When we say we want Palestinians to be free, they say you are anti-Semitic. When you say you want illegal occupation to end, we want Palestinians to have equal rights, we want Palestinians to be treated like humans, the response comes, you are anti-Semitic, anti-Israel, anti-Jew, and pro-Hamas. When we say Arabs are Semites too, they say only Jews are Semites. And when we say, when a Jew say, I'm a Jew and I want Palestinians to be free, they will flag the person as a traitor. This sort of narrative, which favors only one side, who is actually the oppressor but claims to be victim, has been witnessed by the whole world silently, and we are seeing a genocide, ethnic cleansing of Palestinian people by an apartheid in a fascist country. This conflict is not a conflict between Jews and Muslims. The conflict is for the land of Palestinian people, which includes Palestinian Muslims and also Palestinian Christians, who have been persecuted, besieged, murdered, humiliated, mocked, and denied justice for 75 years. For 75 years, we have witnessed deliberate killing of thousands of Palestinians, displacement of millions since Nakba in 1948. Israel has deliberately violated international laws and has continued to do illegal occupation in the West Bank, has imprisoned, killed, terrorized, and held hostages in jail, be it men, women, children, young and old. Whoever stood against their oppression, they are in jail now. Where is the outcry and outrage and condemnation for all this, which has been displayed since 75 years? Leaders of Israel consider Palestinians to be human animals and want to nuke them and be gone permanently. Netanyahu's statement from October 28th states that he refers to a statement in the Bible, and he says that Amalek is basically needs to be cleansed completely from there. Israel uses Hamas as a scapegoat to kill more Palestinian people. I was born and raised in India, and we had British who ruled India for more than 100 years, and there was no sovereign country called India at that time. But still, people from all faiths and backgrounds come together to fight the British. Anyone who revolted against them and did an action which violated their apartheid law, they called those individuals as terrorists. But to the people of India, they were called as freedom fighters. Lastly, I want you all to think and ponder. Israel has killed and murdered more than 28,000 people in Gaza using lies and deceit, and of those 28,000, most of them are women and children, and it also includes journalists and doctors. If this was the definition of defending yourself, then it's a shame for us to be calling us human beings. This is not a war. This is not a fair war. This is called as genocide. Ceasefire now. Ceasefire now.
All right, last person, okay? No, last person, okay? Last person. All right.
Are you sure we can have a couple more?
Just one more. Yes, we do. In matters pertinent towards the village of Schaumburg. And that is exactly how a city council. I'm not going to get into an argument. If we're going to get into an argument, I'll shut the meeting down.
You are required to hear us out.
I will shut the meeting down if we start arguing, all right?
Then we'll come back again.
So,
No, we are just saying, man, you're elected.
it's fine.
You've made up your mind that you don't even want to listen to us right now. You just said this is not a
All
you
right.
problem.
I'm going to give you one last chance.
Sorry.
Okay?
I apologize.
Otherwise,
Please.
we'll close the meeting. We have business before us.
Let me, if you don't mind, sir.
Yeah, I mean, there's a tornado, we can't speak, I mean, there's nowhere we're gonna go.
I need to say something just for a couple of minutes.
No. Okay? We're not going to spend the next 2 hours here discussing a topic or listening to a topic that is not pertinent towards the village of Schaumburg. I'm not going to repeat this over and over again. All right? If you don't speak, then we're going to close the meeting. Okay? So, okay? I get,
can we?
all right.
You've been elected by us.
You need to hear your people.
I've heard the people. We are not getting into an argument over this. All right? I understand. We're not.
You are our father figure.
If we don't be quiet and remain calm, the meeting will terminate at this point. Okay? Please, do you want to let him speak or not? No. Do you want to let him speak or not?
Go ahead, sir.
All right.
That's why the truth is hitting your ears.
It does not require, it requires only comments pertinent towards the village of Schaumburg.
To save their lives.
Okay.
So, all right.
So I'm going to give you a different perspective here.
Okay. So, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to quote Israeli historian Ilan Pappé, who recently spoke in New York City this month. These are not my words. These are his words, Ilan Pappé. Quote, a settler colonial movement, a project that tries to create a nation out of a religion, is not going to work in the 21st century. We are witnessing the beginning of the end of Zionism. There is no doubt about it. I'm not saying it as a prophecy or as wishful thinking. I'm saying this as an expert and academic on Israel. My thesis is built on research, not wishful thinking. There's clear indication Israel will implode from within. We already saw the struggle before the October 7th. A vision for the children of Israel, for the grandchildren of Israel, that you would live from one war to the other, one cycle of violence to the other, is a vision that most young Israeli Jews who have a different passport, who have known other places, would not remain in Israel. You don't stay for 50 years in a place that is going from one war to the other war, even if you win those wars. Because as you know, when it comes to wars, nobody wins. So, implosion within Israeli society is another indicator. Economically, a growing number of people are below poverty in Israel. Most Israelis cannot afford to buy a house, even a flat. Many cannot afford to rent. Unemployment is rising. And there's this idea that American financial aid, which is huge, will continue forever. So, another important indicator is the economic erosion of Israel as part of the disintegration of the Zionist project. The big move in civil society today in support of Palestine is what I call a global Palestine. Global Palestine is an amazing alliance of people who believe their struggle against injustice is the same as the Palestinian struggle against injustice. And they will begin to have an influence on the government. Let me finish by saying that what is really worrying is that from history we know that the disintegration of regimes like Israel is usually the most dangerous period for everyone concerned, because the regime is fighting for its life. This is true about South Vietnam. This is true about South Africa apartheid. So I'm warning us all. We're in times of existential danger for Palestinians. That's why we have to double or triple whatever we have to, legally, politically, and economically, to try and limit the destruction that Israel plans for Palestine and the Palestinians. This is Ilan Pappé, Israeli historian. Thank you.
So the weather is clearly not being very cooperative here, so I understand that. I'm going to say that what is going on in Gaza is clearly a tragedy. It's terrible. It should not be going. If you want to keep interrupting, then I'll just clear the room. Okay? I understand. I understand. Enough. Enough. All right.
Sister, let
All
him
right.
speak.
I'm going to tell you that from an operational standpoint, this is not a matter that the Village of Schaumburg has anything to do with and can do anything about. So we will not be passing a resolution on that regard. So you can, I am just letting you know, we will not be doing a resolution, okay? Because it is not pertinent towards the Village of Schaumburg.
But you can't do
So-
anything about it. Add it on the fucking list. And
All right. Hey, you know what? Hey,
No, I'm sorry, but
All
add it
right.
onto the list. You can't do anything. You can raise your voice about it.
you know what?
You can be loud
We are
about
going to take a 15-minute recess so that the room can be cleared.
No, ma'am.
All right?
You're sitting
Thank
there
you.
because of the citizens.
For, Tuesday, February 27th, 2024. The next item on our agenda is the consent agenda. It will be read in its entirety, voted on as one motion to approve. If you wish to discuss an item further, please indicate that when the item is read by the village clerk so that it can be removed from the consent agenda and discussed further under committee reports. Otherwise, all items will be approved as presented on consent agenda in one motion to approve. Will the clerk please read the consent agenda?
Number 1, correspondence. A, the motion would be to approve the request from the Schaumburg Professional Firefighters Benevolent Association to hold a raffle on April 5th, 2024 at the Hyatt Regency, 1800 East Gulf Road, and to grant a variance to Code Section 117.31 since the ticket price is over $5. 2, liquor licenses. The motion would be to ratify the request from Ms. Jennifer Scarpelli of Mesa for one Class D one-day liquor license for Savor event on February 22nd, 2024 at 1501 Woodfield Road and waive the fee. 3, Finance, Legal Administration, and General Government. A, the motion would be to approve the Finance Department monthly report for January 2024. B, the motion would be to approve the contribution to the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning in the amount of $3,364.98. C, the motion would be to authorize the village president and village clerk to execute the renewal of lease agreement number L-233 with the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago and approve the required resolution. D, the motion would be to authorize the village president and village clerk to execute the third amendment to the operating agreement by and between the Village of Schaumburg and the Schweiker House Preservation Trust regarding use of the Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago lease area surrounding the Schweiker House located at 645 Meacham Road and approve the required resolution. E, the motion would be to approve a resolution authorizing a Class B renewal tax incentive for Compass Properties at 550 Albion Avenue. F, the motion would be to approve a resolution authorizing the revocation of the 6B incentive from Brooklyn Imports, Inc., located at 851 East State Parkway. G, the resolution would be to accept the fiscal year 22-23 municipal compliance reports for the Schaumburg Police and Schaumburg Firefighters pension funds. H, the motion would be to approve reallocating $58,909 in American Rescue Plan Act ARPA funds to the Community Assistance Fund. 4, Planning, Building, and Development Committee. A, the motion would be to approve an annual amusement license for Dave & Buster's located at 601 North Martingale Road for 2024. B, the motion would be to approve Encore Village to install privately funded banners consistent with policy 5.36. C, the motion would be to approve an amendment to the municipal code pertaining to community, cultural, and recreational centers in the B3 Planned Office Business District and refer the amendment to the Zoning Board of Appeals for public hearing.
Vote, please.
Five, Zoning Board of Appeals. The motion would be to approve a special use for a sports training facility for Snow Lake Studio LLC, 636 Remington Road, Suite C. B, the motion would be to approve special use for banquet hall for Everest Events, 1100 American Lane. 6, award of bid. The motion would be to award the bid for the 2024 Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, Annual Sidewalk Program to the lowest responsible bidder, Schroeder & Schroeder, Inc. of Skokie, Illinois, in an amount not to exceed the approved budget of $155,000. B, the motion would be to award the bid for the 2024 Mid-Block Pedestrian Crossing Enhancements to the lowest responsible bidder, Acura, Inc. of Bensonville, Illinois, in the amount of $149,739. C, the motion would be to award the bid for storm sewer water outfall improvements at Cedar Crest Drive, Buzz Aldrin Elementary School, and J.C. Park Phase 3 construction services to the lowest responsible bidder, Performance Construction and Engineering, LLC of Plano, Illinois, in the amount of $679,475. 7, resolutions. The motion would be to adopt as resolution number R-24-014, authorizing the village president and village clerk to execute a renewal of lease agreement number L-233 with the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago for the village's use of approximately 5 acres of property surrounding the Schweiker House located at 645 Meacham Road. B, the motion would be to adopt as resolution number R-24-015, approving and authorizing the village president to execute the third amendment to the operating agreement by and between the Village of Schaumburg and the Schweiker House Preservation Trust regarding use of the Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago lease area surrounding the Schweiker House located at 645 Meacham Road. C, the motion would be to adopt as resolution number R-24-016, approving and authorizing the renewal of a 6B classification for 550 Albion Avenue, Schaumburg, Illinois, Compass Properties, LLC. D, the motion would be to adopt as resolution number R-24-017, revoking the prior authorization for the renewal of a 6B classification for 851 East State Parkway, Schaumburg, Illinois, Brooklyn Imports, Inc. 8, ordinances. The motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance number 24-008, granting a special use for a sports training facility for Snow Lake Studio, LLC, 636 Remington Road, Suite C. B, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance number 24-009, granting a special use for a banquet hall for Everest Events, 1100 American Lane. This concludes the consent agenda.
Thank you. Look for motion to approve the consent agenda has been read.
With item 4C pulled?
Yes.
4C is pulled.
Yes, the one item having been pulled off the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
The motion and a second. Will the clerk please call a roll?
Trustee Patel?
Aye.
Trustee Clare?
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan?
Aye.
Trustee Dunham?
Aye.
Trustee Madej?
Aye.
Trustee Bishki?
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, motion carries. We have one item under committee reports, which is a recommendation to amend the municipal code to allow for community cultural recreational centers as special uses in a B3 district. George.
Given that this is significant change in policy. We had a committee meeting about it, and I think that this should come back to committee of the whole for further discussion by the entire board.
And that would be the March Committee of the Whole?
If we can.
Okay. Questions, comments from the rest of the board? No? You going to make that as a motion then, George?
I've so moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to refer this matter to the Committee of the Whole for March. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Next item is council report.
I have no report, Mayor.
Okay. President's report, I have none for this evening. Manager's report.
I just have one quick item. The board and staff already know this, but Sid Kenyon is our new Director of Transportation. He's here this evening. So Sid, if you want to stand up so everybody knows who you are. Sid comes to us from DuPage County, and we're looking forward to working with him and seeing his leadership in the Transportation Department. So congratulations and welcome.
Okay. Thank you. All right. New business. We have nothing further under new business, unfinished business. Trustee comments and mentions. None for this evening, and I look for a motion then to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you much.